How about I just tell you guys a story? That's a hell of a lot easier.
I love it. Let's do it.
So, when I was probably 17 or 18 years old, all I ever really wanted to do was ranch. And at that time, my folks' place and where agriculture was, wasn't big enough to support more than one family. And I remember being out in the field and, breaking down to my dad, like, what am I gonna do? I want a ranch so bad. And he's like, man. And it wasn't a defeatist kind of thing for him to say, but he just said, I don't think that's a real possibility, Pete.
But the reason that I love what we're doing is that to really make a go at it without having a lot of acreage. We're, not a legacy ranching family. I think that it gives hope for others that want to get into this. I'm Meagan Lannan. I'm with Barney Creek Livestock. I own and operate this operation with my husband, Pete. We are based in the Paradise Valley, out of Livingston, Montana.
I'm Pete Lannan. I'm a fourth-generation rancher here in Paradise Valley. We run cow-calf pairs, yearlings, and then grass-fed finished beef, sometimes Malloy sheep. Land prices in the Paradise Valley are $10,000 an acre plus. I mean, that would be bottom line. And there's just no way that you can bankroll that and be profitable. So we had to come up with a different model than what would be considered traditional around here. We find landowners that are interested in improving their land and that care about the ecosystem and soil health and wildlife and conservation. And those are the folks that we try to foster a relationship with. We utilize our livestock and work with them to improve their land.
When we partner with those landowners, we really teach them about what's going on. And we've made it our motto to not just drop off the livestock and leave. We tell them about soil health, we share their soil tests, their plant tissue tests. Sometimes we do a water test. But we're showing them how all these things are related and how that's coming out in the beef or in the lamb and how that ends up on your plate to sort of close that loop on the whole supply chain. And then they're going to go to their peers and talk about how they're sequestering carbon, how they've got livestock on the land and they're bringing back the ecosystem and they've seen all these things. So what we're hoping that brings is it opens doors for more grazers to be able to do what we're doing if they can't afford, a lot of land and a lot of livestock. So it's not great for the dung beetles, and we really need those dung beetles and other. So we've got some just fantastic landowners as partners. In particular, Laura Burks.
My name is Laura Burks. I'm fortunate enough to be a resident of Paradise Valley, Montana. We have long-standing family ties back to the area, family homestead just down the valley, late 1800s. I'm a neighbor of Meagan and Pete who run Barney Creek just down the road. So when Meagan and Pete told me what they were doing with Barney Creek around regenerative agriculture, it's just such a nice model to be able to allow neighbors to participate in something that used to be quite exclusive for large landowners. So we only have a small piece of land, but quite a bit to graze and quite a lot to regenerate after many years of lying fallow. So that was really the interest, which was a personal and professional one, and to be able to be a part of a broader conservation initiative locally in Paradise Valley. The advantage of regenerative agriculture and the adaptive grazing that Meagan and Pete and Barney Creek have adopted is that it's really bringing back the microbiology in the soil. So when we don't have hooves on the soil and all of the components that go with that, ultimately it desertifies, and that's largely what's happened here because it hadn't been grazed for many, many years.
So what we do, I mean, in a nutshell, is we're grazers. We use cows to manage the land. And we do it with very low inputs. How we achieve that is mostly we're moving cows every day. And that's generally bunching up the cows fairly tight, but giving the grass a ton of rest.
So that very active of managing but resting the land at the same time creates much deeper root systems, which in the long run will create a much better system for retaining water. In addition, we're managing for fire, noxious weeds, so a lot of things that we can do whilst partnering with our neighbors instead of just necessarily haying the land or leaving it to just go fallow. And thinking about the extraordinary privilege it is to live here, and with that comes, I think, a responsibility to leave this place in a better place than we found it.
And so this award means so much to us. When we got that phone call, we both started crying because it was just like, this is our favorite part, is watching the land come back and the birds and watching the water infiltrate, and
like watching our daughter go into classes with kindergartners to her peers, now she's gonna be a sophomore, sharing this message and what we're doing and educating younger people about healthy land and healthy ecosystems and healthy relationships is huge. And the cool thing to me is, my dad and mom live 600 yards away. They still help out on the ranch with whatever they can help out with. There's Meagan and I, and then there's our two kids, and they're helping. And so, I'm fourth generation, my kids are fifth generation. That's pretty special. Hopefully I don't ruin it for them, and they want to stay.
Liam's really funny. We'll drive by places as we're going to a race. He will also lean and be like, wow, that grass doesn't look good, or they should probably graze that a little bit, less. And so, he's invested into what we're doing too.
But that's a big part of our goal here, is that, so maybe it's not this ranch, maybe it's wherever they land, or if they want to stay in agriculture, but we're developing a model for them to be able to continue on in agriculture.
But the reason that I love what we're doing is that we have really found a way to show other people what we're doing, to share with other people what we're doing, to really make a go at it without having a lot of acreage.
Let's be real. I'm almost 50 years old. I won't tell you how old Meagan is, but I'm not going to live forever. So maybe I got 20 more good years of being able to do this, 30, I don't know. But the only way that this moves forward and lives on is the influence that you have on other people. Whether it's your kids, whether it's a young person that you've met who asks you questions and could call you up, whether it's your neighbor. I think that's more important than anything.